Okay, so if you're new, we're going to start from the beginning and continue on. If you've been to these before, that's great. Just go ahead and drop done in the chat when you found the account you're going to download tonight, and we can move on from there. But so getting started here. If this is your first time, we have to do 3 steps to start out. So number one, if you're taking down any notes, first thing we want to do is get a VPN of some sort. I recommend Hotspot Shield VPN. On a Mac, you can just go right to the App Store and do that, and download Hotspot Shield VPN. Very simple. It's a free. You don't have to pay for it. If you know another VPN that you like, go free to use that. There's lots of other ones. There's NordVPN. There's Google Chrome extension VPNs you can use. There's lots of different ones that you can take advantage of. But it's just important that you have one. It allows us to get around Instagram's kind of policy, and also if you're messaging, I would also recommend to use a VPN while you're messaging as well um, on Instagram. So also the second thing that we need to do is we need to have our computer settings altered. So be ready to do that really quick. If you have a Mac or Windows, ready to pull that up. And then third thing we have to do is get the extension that we need from the Chrome store. All you have to do is Google search export list of followers from Instagram, and it's the first one that comes up on Google Chrome browser. And then you can go ahead and install that. And then you'd have to either enter in your manager's info to be able to access that full version, or if you're running an office this summer, you might have to pay for it for yourself. It's $10 a month. You need it for your SMRs anyway. And we can go from there. But starting off first, Hotspot Shield VPN. So I will share my screen going to the App Store here on a Mac. If you're on a Windows, you just Google search it. Google search Hotspot Shield VPN, and you download it for your Windows computer. Nice spelling. But it's this one here. So you would then download it, and once you do, open it up. If you have a Mac, just to make it super easy to use, all you have to do is go to your preferences up here, and then go to the menu bar and dock. So change the setting to menu bar and dock. And then in the future, all you have to do is click this guy and click basic. Otherwise, you just open it up and there's a big power button. Turn it on, you're good to go. But click basic, you're connected, and you'll be good to go from there. Or you can disconnect from there as well. Very simple. And again, on Windows, just download it, install it, and it's the same thing from there. Next thing we need to do is change our computer settings so that way our computer doesn't go to sleep overnight. The display can turn off, that's fine, but the computer cannot go to sleep. Otherwise, it'll quit working, and then we won't be able to complete the list that we want. So here you want to go to power adapter. So click battery, go to your system preferences, click battery, power adapter. In Windows, it'll be something very similar. It'll be battery settings, power settings, something along those lines. This is what we're looking for, is this guy. So prevent computer from sleeping automatically when the display is off, okay? So you can have your display turn off, that's fine, that's good for your computer for it to turn off. You want it to do that, but you do not want it to go to sleep. So whatever setting your computer has to where it does not actually go to sleep when the display is off, that's what we want to do. Overnight, keep your display open and plug your computer in, obviously. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. That's just the main thing that we're looking for. Um, on Apple computers, if your computer is not up to date, I highly recommend you do that now. I would do it at night, just like this. But you go to About This Mac, and then software update, look for one. If there is one, then you want to install it and go from there. Also, new iOS, very nice with your phone. Lots of new things you can do. So, along those lines, there's also a spreadsheet that your office manager should have. It will look very similar to this guy here. And on this guy, this will be your overview tab with all your offices. I will drop with this recording the links to a template of the spreadsheet along with a video, obviously, how to do this. Look in your WhatsApps, and I'll probably post it on YouTube to put little timestamps in so you can go to certain sections if we need to. Yeah, there we go. And then you can go to your each school. It's going to look like this. You'll have your handles in here along with the info that you need. All right. So the three things. The third thing we need to do is just go to Google. You search export list of followers from Instagram. And again, it's going to be the first thing that comes up. If you have your VPN on, it might be difficult. Sometimes the Google search won't allow you to do that. You might have to disconnect, and then you can search it. You're going to click Add to Chrome right here. And then you're going to open up this Instagram Helper Tools for social media, the website. This is where you'll pay for this if you need to. You will then click the Upgrade Your Social Media Experience button right here. And then at this point, you will pay monthly, I recommend, and pay $10 a month. Reason being, Instagram could change their privacy settings or whatever, and it could just mess it up like we did Facebook last year, where we didn't really have much momentum. So, in that regard, that's how you check out. You might have some card issues because it's in a foreign country, so make sure your bank knows when it charges. Some banks are okay, others it'll kind of mess with you and won't let you do so. But those are the three things we need to do before we do anything. Once we get that set, we're good to go, and we can go. And I'll also include a spreadsheet with my responses here to make it super easy, and an assignment spreadsheet to where you can, hey, these are your handles, Case. Hey, these are your handles, Jake. Hey, Abby, these are your handles. And then in the spreadsheet, I have it set to where I will color code to assign, so I'll know like whose list is who based on color codes. That way, this is just a data spreadsheet, and then your Jumpstart spreadsheet is elsewhere, so you can keep track of interacting, following, follow backs, all that good stuff before we message here shortly. But now on Instagram, the next thing we need to do is just find an account. So I actually just got some more schools added to my territory, so I'm excited to dig in to look into it and download from my new schools since I've started doubling up. But on Instagram, give me a thumbs up if you can see my Instagram page over here. Thank you, Abby. Great. So on Instagram, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of my schools. I'm going to go to my spreadsheet, look at all my schools that I got. So I can see here, this is it. I don't have this one on here yet because I just got it today. But Alcona is one of my new schools. So I'm going to look up Alcona High School. And what I'm looking for is a 2018 graduate. That's what I'm looking for. Reason being is that our followers are going to mainly look up to us in age versus us looking down. So, example, I graduated in 2018. I have a lot of followers from the class of 2019, 2020, and 2021. They look up to me. They follow me on Instagram. Vice versa, looking down, probably not going to get as many followers. I'm not going to follow as many people younger than me. And those people that you download are going to have a lot of unqualified people on their list. So we target a 2018 account. It's going to allow us to have the most people in our territory possible so we can be the most efficient. But I'm going to look up the high school itself. I'm not clicking on the account. I'm actually clicking on the school itself with the geotag pin. Okay, on your phone, it looks a little bit different. I recommend doing this search process on your phone. It makes it a lot easier to do so. But I can look for graduate photos like this. This one is by recent, so it's obviously 2020. Not what I'm looking for. But on your phone, there's two tabs: recent and top posts. If you go to recents, you can find it in order. Sometimes the top posts, you'll be able to get those guys right here, and you can find a good one. Like this was one I was going to download, Rignell, but just to kind of search farther, I will show kind of what we're doing. So a good football post from 2017 is typically good. There'll be seniors. We can look at this post as well. That's the same girl, so that's good. Maybe look at the person she's tagging photo, private. Okay, no biggie. Um, this school is very small, so likelihood of me finding another solid account is slimmer. 2018. Okay, this is good. So Timothy. This would probably be the second list I download. So this is kind of the target range you want, especially with like a smaller school like this. Somewhere in the range of like 500 to 1500 from a smaller school would be what I'm looking for. However, on like a bigger school, like a Division One, if you have 4 divisions in your school, like in Michigan, or whatever grad class of 500 to 1,000, I would say anywhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 followers to 3,000, 3,500 followers should be good to download. But anything more than that, and if it's like a smaller school, scale it back a little bit. I wouldn't do, just because you're going to get less efficient with your list that you're downloading. So from here, this guy's list looked really solid. It's probably going to be more efficient because it adds less than the other girl. The other girl actually goes to Michigan State, and she also has been there for 2 years now, or 3 years almost now. So I would rather download his list. It looks like he stayed home, and his 800 followers are probably a majority from high school time. Probably hasn't tacked on a whole lot. He's getting 30 likes for a photo now, and back then he also is getting more because they were in high school, more active. So I feel very confident in the fact that these are all high school people that he went to school with. So I'm going to follow him, and then I'm going to download his list by clicking this little puzzle piece guy. Export list of followers from Instagram, and then you click only followers, and then get list of users, and it's going to start the process. If you have SMRAs in your team, I would do the same process for. It's going to download their list. You're probably familiar with that. Leave this timer as it is, right here at 1,000. That's fine. This is the fast list, but the reason we do this at 9 p.m. every night is so that we can download um, the next step overnight, because it takes a while. So you're going to bump this next timer up here to 13 seconds or 13,000 milliseconds, okay? Instagram will get sus of us, if you like Among Us. It'll get sus of us, and we would need to bump it. So it starts at 4,000, bump it up. It just takes 13 seconds per account. So it takes roughly 4 to 5 hours per 1,000 handles that you're downloading. Very important to bump that up, so that way Instagram does not sus us, so to speak. From there, what we're going to do is click these boxes. So you're not going to export it yet, but once this is complete in the morning, you're going to export the user profile, which is going to give you a link to their account right in your spreadsheet. It will look like this guy. And then from there, you're going to click followed by count, not follows count, followed by count, right? And then is private. And then also their bio. All right. Those 4 things are what we want. And then you're just going to let this run overnight. Like I said, make sure your computer settings are changed. Leave it open. Leave your computer plugged in. The display can turn off, but you don't want it to go to sleep. So it's just going to keep working. Make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi. You're good to go. And then from there, it will give us our Excel sheet in the morning. What it's going to look like when it downloads is something very, very similar. Once this opens here, my numbers. It's going to look like this guy. So it's going to have the link to their profile is private. So it's going to let us know if they're private or not. 0 means that they're a public account. 1 means that they're a private account. We want to know this because we want to know who we can interact with better and get better results messaging. Private accounts are less likely to respond to us because we couldn't interact with them prior to. So it doesn't mean we don't do any private accounts, but for our mass groupings, when we're just adding on to be able to send 4,000 or 5,000 messages this summer, that's what we got. The bio is going to be here. And then what we're going to do is take these 5 columns You're going to copy them over to your Google Sheet. Jake really likes this term, but it's called the playroom. So we're gonna paste it in the playroom on the spreadsheet. This is just an area that we can move them around. So you would then paste those handles in the playroom as you would see it. It's going to take a minute because there's a lot of data you have to process. And blurt. Boom, there it is. So it's going to have all that info in here, and we're going to have to sort it. There's a couple different ways we can sort it, but the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to get as many targeted handles out of this list that we can. So 100 percenters that we know are in our territory. So how we do that, this is the same list over here, by the way. I've already dispersed some of them. But how we do that is we have some conditional formatting set up already to color code it how we want. So you're going to right click on this guy. You're going to click conditional formatting. And then you're going to make these conditional formats. What I recommend is you make one big one for your territory and your surrounding territories to help each other out. Example, I have Grand Valley State, GVSU, in here. A lot of people put that in their bio, obviously their school. I have it set to be orange. What I'm going to do, we're making a Michigan IG handles transfer sheet. So I can do copy paste. Hey, Jake, here are your handles that I just got. Right? These are all Jake's handles in GVSU. Grand Rapids, same thing. Boom. Western Michigan, I have a WMU in here for Peter. I'm going to have a Kalamazoo tab. Hey, Peter, here you go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this to everyone, and they can apply their local ones, and then obviously the Kalamazoo ones, and Hope for Abby in there as well. Hope College in Holland. But what that's going to do is allow me to disperse those, so we're helping each other out, and I'm getting my targeted handles, and I'm not messaging someone that's outside of my territory, right? So example for me, Tri-County High School was a list that I downloaded from. So I put Tri, I put TCAHS. So anything in pink, I know that's like the main thing I'm targeting from this list, because that's where this list is downloaded from. Anything in blue is FSU or Ferris, which is Ferris State University. Anything in blue is right from my college. And then anything in green is anywhere else in my territory. So Cedar Springs High School, Central Michigan University, Reed City, Grant, Newaygo, Montcalm. Those are all towns. I'm still adding to this, so I'm not complete yet. And then anything that contains big or rapids or state or GR, I'm making it in yellow so I can just kind of verify to make sure there's none that are in my territory that maybe moved to Grand Rapids, or maybe vice versa, right? UMich, same thing. MSU, I'm making those yellow so that way I can check to see if they're in my territory, and then I can then move them to the targeted list if I'm there. And then from there, anything that starts with a G, like a different color, just kind of be general. But what this allows me to do is target my own and then go from there. So then you apply a filter. So you would select a little triangle guy here. You'd highlight those rows, all 5 of them. You click create that filter, and then you're going to make it whatever color it is. So it was, I already took my ones already and put them in my spreadsheet, so it's not going to be there. But then what you can do, I'll just do it over here. But you're going to do Command C on this row, and you're going to want to keep this. So this conditional formatting is going to be kept. You want to keep that in a cell somewhere that you don't lose. So I would like add a column over here, probably to the left. I'm going to do this now. Do not delete. We're going to keep this here. And what this is going to do is keep that formatting. So when you paste this, it's going to be Command Option V, or you're going to right click, paste. It says Petro Paste for the format only, right? Boom. So it's going to have this format here for us. So when I go to the conditional formatting, it should keep it. Oh, so I had to do the row. My fault. Command C and then Command Option V. Oh, I know why. I missed. So what I did is I made these orange because they weren't color coding perfectly. That's where there's a group of orange in there, but it still has the other in there as well. But conditional formatting, it has all of them in there still, right? I know this is orange, but don't worry about that. It has all them in there still. Don't delete, leave this in here. That way I'm able to easily copy that over and it'll automatically color code every list I download for me, right? To make it quick, simple, easy. And then I can move them around and sort by color. So what I just did that, I'm going to paste it over here as well so I can show you guys what it'll look like. Command Option V, boom, it'll color code these guys how I want, and we can go from there. So let me, they're orange because I did it manually. Okay. So now the conditional formatting will sort by color. We will, so we got to re-highlight. So you got to click the triangle, hit it again, and then fill color, and we can do blue, which is my territory, right? These are all people that goes to Ferris State now. Pops them all up for me, no problem. I guess with a lot of data, there might be a little glitch where the color will come up and then it'll go away, but you can see where it stops. So it was all Ferris right here. I don't know why, but anyway, it's still there. Everything else is still there too, and if you sort it by blue, it'll pop up again. But yeah, just make sure these are in the order that you want them to be in order of priority, like local high school first, local college first, and then my local towns, and then my next stuff. Anything else with other people's colleges, right? That's the main things. But then you would take the handle and the link. So let's say Ferris stopped right here. So I'm going to take the handle and I'm going to take the link with me over to my other tab. Maybe. Why is the dictionary? Okay. So I'm going to take the handle and the link. Back to where I was. And you're going to basically bring that over to your tab that's on your spreadsheet for that school. So for these, I'm going to bring them right over to my Ferris State tab because I know those are all my Ferris State students. So right here, let's say. Cool. You're going to take the handle and the link, highlight those, and bing, bang, boom. I'm going to go to my Ferris tab and paste them here. You can sort before that, though, by the follower count. That way it's in order, and you can take the SMRA amount, and then you can take the rep count. But anyway, you paste them in here. They show up. Again, if you do a Command Option V, it'll just keep the same format, or sorry, Command Shift V, it'll keep the same format nice and neat, and it won't ruin that. But now those are all added in there, and you're good to go, and you can keep stacking them as you go. But deleting those, and then everything else that's left over after you've done that sorting with the color coding, everything else that's left over, you will then copy those over into the additional handles that we'll use if we need to mask. So you do all 4 of these columns here. We don't leave out the bio, but we'll do these 4 columns and we'll paste them right into this side here, the unfiltered handle section. Same way, and then you can sort by the number of followers and the true or false, whether they're private or not, giving us the best results. Then there's a spot for unqualified handles as well, and feeder accounts that you can go to individually get your super targeted handles, top kids, athletes, whatever that we want. I know it's a lot of information. If you're not very techy, it can get a little bit confusing. So does anyone have any questions that might help other people? Feel free to unmute, and anyone that's been on these, if you have any that might help other people in general that I've maybe forgot something, please unmute and let me know.
I got a bunch, but I'm going to wait for other people.
One more thing before we do more questions, actually. Once you you can either assign your people to do it, or if you're doing it yourself, once you have these SMRA handles up that's in the unfiltered section that you don't know within their territory, to first of all to make them have a hyperlink again, if you just hold down enter on the link like this, it'll make it all blue really quickly. And then if you want to verify that those SMRAs in your territory, you can highlight multiple, right click, and you can hit open all links, and it'll open them all up at once in different tabs for you. That we don't have to individually go back and forth and hit that. So, all right. Anyone else have any questions before Case goes? All right, cool. Go ahead, Case.
Okay, so I would like to show you my screen if possible. You don't have to record this unless you want to. It's up to you. Because again, but it's up to you. We're going to go through a couple things here.
Could it help others?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll keep it on there then.
Okay, so I found this young man named Lou. Lou went to Cathedral Prep. He now goes to Gannon, and he's been in the area for a few years. So he's actually not 2018. He's 2017. But I saw that he had worked with he had friends that were one of the guys that worked with me a couple years ago. So I was like, man, we'll go with this young man. So plus he only has 618. So I feel very confident that all of the people are either local high school or local college because he's from here and has stayed here. So there's a very high likelihood that all these people could be recruitable. So I went up here and I did the little tab. I did export list of followers. I logged in, and right now, let's see here. So does this look correct so far? I made this 13,000. And then I did 3 here. I couldn't remember all the things I have to click. I did is private, bio, user followed by, and then I couldn't remember the other one.
User profile is the other one, right up top there, and just to the right. Yep, and then quick note on this profile. So Case said he's a 2017 grad. That's totally fine. I would rather have a 2017 grad than a 2019 grad. You're going to get more qualified people, and you're still going to get our most recent graduates following those groupings as well.
So is there anything I do while this is still working, or do I just let this keep downloading? Or there's nothing I do, right?
Nothing you do. This is what happens overnight.
Okay. Okay. So that's step 1 is, get somebody. And then for everybody on my team, it's not about perfection, like finding the right kid. Like you could spend a long time. It's just find somebody that would be a good fit and then just start doing it. That's the first thing. Don't be like, well, I don't know if he's the best one. It doesn't matter. It's just who's local. I just found that guy pretty quickly. I did what Lane said there. I went to Cathedral Prep, and I typed in the geo part. I went down on their page, and that's how I found this young man. He was tagged in like a theatrical performance, and one of the guys in the photo was Garrett, who used to work with me. And I'm like, boom, I'm going to select this guy. Since he was, in a photo of somebody that I worked with in the past. So beautiful. And then when this finishes, what happens? Does it just all of a sudden pop up on an Excel sheet, or what happens once this is done downloading?
Yeah, so once this is done, you see it in the morning. That bar will be at a 100%. There won't be, actually the bars will be gone. And all you'll see is it'll say like complete or somewhere. Then you just hit export to Excel right there, and it'll make a spreadsheet where you can copy those over to the Google Sheet from there.
And then put them in the playroom, and then I'll have questions more tomorrow night for you, because I'm going to do this, with this group. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to do it again. And then just so you know, I couldn't get the VPN or VPN hotspot field, but I did get what's called ZenMate, and I just knew I needed a VPN, so that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, any VPN that you can activate is good. Most of them you're gonna have to pay to get a premium version that will like work for a certain amount of time or will actually be able to function. But there are other free ones out there. I mean, I haven't done much research because I've used this one since I was in middle school to get around the school's internet, so I could be on Snapchat during the school day, right? So I've never used a different one, but
Got it. And then just since I have all my people on, again, use my email right there, Cutco Erie Explosion. When you sign into this, the Chrome extension, just type in Cutco Erie Explosion and sign into that Gmail. That way you can access it for Bobby and Abby. Jacob, you'll have your own Gmail there, and Maria, you'll have your own Gmail, and you'll be on this on the $10 one, which is the one I'm on right now. But that way we can use that.
really quick case. So, do they have to actually log into your Google Chrome on that web browser, like clicking like the little profile, or can they just do it right in the extension?
I think it's right in the extension. When they click, they'll just be on Google Chrome. And then, because if I click log out, it'll just say sign into the Google. And then they'll click on the extension through here. And then they'll type in Cutco Erie Explosion. And then they'll have to type in my password. And it'll log them into it.
Good to know. Because before I had them clicking on the little profile and having to log in and open a new window, but that works great. So beautiful.
So, Abby, we should be doing this. Bobby, I know you were asking me questions beforehand. And then Jacob and Maria. Maria, you should be finding some awesome young lady or young guy up there in Binghamton. And Jacob, you should be finding some awesome young guy or lady. And Lane, didn't you say like your goal is like one good lady, one good guy from each high school mainly?
Yeah, I mean, typically girls' accounts are easier to get to, easier to find, just because they get more likes on average. Usually they have more followers. So I would say one girl's list the first time through, maybe find a guy's list in there, but flip flop whatever you did the first time through your school. So the first time through your school, you got a guy, or then the next time through, you get a girl, or vice versa. I think you get more range of followers doing that.
Yeah, and then obviously the size of the school, if it's like if it's a massive school, you could probably get 2 or 3 guys and 2 or 3 girls from each school. But if it's a small high school, one girl, one guy, like basketball girl, football guy, or wrestling guy. Well, I would go with the big sports, the ones like I would probably go football and then like a volleyball or whatnot, because wrestling doesn't usually have that many fans. Lane, I know we like wrestling, but just so you know.
Wrestler accounts suck. I have found that even from my own experience, like it's very niche. Like there's so many on like people out of the territory. So do not download a wrestler's account hardly ever. Just out of the territory, not good.
Yeah, basketball, volleyball, football, maybe soccer. Soccer is usually like soccer, whatever has the most amount of athletes that play that sport. So soccer teams can be pretty big. Football teams can be very large. Baseball teams can be decently sized. I don't know. I would say a girls' soccer account and a guys' football account would probably have the most amount of people that played that sport with them.
No individual sports, too niche. You get a lot of out of area if they're actually good
Yeah,
at
like
it.
tennis and stuff like that would just be, or lacrosse. You're just going to get people that they met in Buffalo, or they had to travel for their sports. It's not like they were next door neighbors with other sports teams that they competed with.
Very local, even if it's not that high school, you get your next high school over, typically.
Got it. Maria, any questions? Jacob, any questions?
Money.
I can finally, I've been on these calls like 4 times. I can finally click the word, I can put done in here.
Done. We did it.
Done. Boom. Took me only 4 or 5 of these things. What was that?
Oh, I said you did it. You're good.
Mhm.
And then, Case, to answer your question in the chat from 12 minutes ago, I already downloaded that list earlier and was sorting it, so I won't redo that again. But that's the basics of sorting it and then copying it over into the other tabs. But from there, tomorrow night I'll have the fresh list. I'll wait to sort it so that way I can show that and do that from there.
Got it. And then this is a question for Jake, and I'm not even sure he remembers. Jake, when you got this Zoom, is this like more of a premium version of Zoom because you have all this raise hand, yes, no's, slower, faster? Is this like the premium version of Zoom?
I don't know. I got the one that's like I think 100-person is the max for it, and I've updated my Zooms. Maybe you need to like update yours, and then I've upgraded to where I can have one room that has up to 500 people now, because we were over 100 for a couple of the winter break training. So
Gotcha. Okay. Good to know because we'll have to upgrade because we're going to have a bunch of people putting on people for trainings and stuff. So
for sure, break the Zooms. That's the goal. We had to like in a panic switch to